This video is brought to you by Skillshare. What's up, explorers, and thanks for tuning in. This week, we explored the state of Virginia, and we can't wait to share with you our top 10 list of unique places that make Virginia uniquely Virginia. Now, a couple of caveats here. We wanted this list to be budget friendly and something that could be done in 3 days. So all of the places mentioned in this video are completely free, with the exception of one, and they can all be visited in one full weekend. I can't wait to share them with you, so make sure you like this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications to stay up to date on all of our latest videos. Starting off our list at number 10 is Mount Trashmore Park in Virginia Beach. Now, a park named after trash may seem a bit odd at first, but this beautiful city park isn't just named after trash, it's built out of trash. 640,000 tons of trash to be exact. Up until 1971, the land that Mount Trashmore sits on was a city landfill that served local residents. Trash was funneled into an open trench at a cost of nearly $80,000 per year, and the waste kept piling higher and higher, so much so that the residents of Virginia Beach jokingly referred to the site as Mount Trashmore. In the 1960s, the Virginia Department of Health decided to close the landfill and convert it into a city park, the first of its kind on the East Coast. The pejorative nickname stuck, and today, Mount Trashmore features 2 lakes, walking trails, a playground, and a skate park. According to city officials, the park draws close to 900,000 visitors per year. Ever hear of the world's largest kugel? No, we're not talking about a traditional Jewish casserole dish. It's okay, we hadn't either. That's why next on our list at number 9 is the Grand Kugel at the Science Museum of Virginia in Richmond. Kugel is the German word for ball or bullet, and a Kugel fountain typically features a granite sphere in a pedestal that is supported by aquaplaning on a thin film of water. Pressurized water flowing between the sphere and socket allow the heavy sphere to be moved rather effortlessly. The Grand Kugel at the Science Museum of Virginia features a globe weighing 29 tons and has held the Guinness World Record of being the largest kugel since 2003. Number 8, the Markel Building in Richmond. There's nothing particularly interesting about a commercial office building, that is, unless its design was inspired by a baked potato wrapped in aluminum foil. Yes, architect Haig Jamgochian conceived the idea for the Markel Building when he was served a baked potato at an American Institute of Architects dinner. Jamgochian was commissioned by the Markel Corporation to design their headquarters in 1962, a time when the futuristic space aesthetic was all the rage. However, some people feel that the building hasn't aged well. In 2009, Digital Journal declared the Markel Building to be one of the world's 10 ugliest buildings, and many locals consider it an eyesore. Love it or hate it, it truly became one of a kind after the only other building Jamgochian designed was demolished in 2005. The Markel Building is now his single existing piece of work. Up next at number 7, the Tombstone House of Petersburg, Virginia. Unless you're the Addams family, you might not be in the market for a house made out of tombstones. However, the fascinating story behind this unique home is rooted in Civil War history. An average of 90,000 Union soldiers perished each year of the 4-year American Civil War, necessitating the establishment of large cemeteries. In 1862, Congress passed legislation that allowed the President of the United States to purchase land for the establishment of cemeteries for soldiers who die while in the service of the country. The Poplar Grove National Cemetery was established in 1866, just 1 year after the Civil War ended. The remains of nearly 6,700 Union soldiers were reinterred at the new cemetery from their sporadic burial sites around Petersburg. Even though 68% of the bodies were unidentified, they were still provided a proper burial in Poplar Grove with a numbered headstone. At the height of the Great Depression in 1933, responsibility of the National Cemetery System was transferred from the War Department to the National Park Service, which had little experience managing cemeteries. To decrease maintenance costs, the Park Service decided to cut down all of the tombstones and lay them flat. All of the discarded tombstone bases were sold to local Petersburg resident Oswald Young in 1934 for a whopping $45. Oswald used the materials to build his 2-story dream house on the west side of town. Did you know that the King of Rock and Roll has an exact model of his Memphis estate in Virginia? Well, he does, except this one is about 1/64th the size. Number 6, Miniature Graceland in Roanoke, Virginia. In the 1980s, Roanoke homeowners Don Epperly and his wife Kim decided to construct a scale model of Elvis Presley's Graceland estate in their front yard. Over the years, additional buildings were added, including a chapel and the Elvis Presley Car Museum. The condition of the miniature estate has ebbed and flowed over time due to weather and vandalism, and Don Epperly passed away in 2012 at the age of 72. However, according to RoadsideAmerica.com, the display has been cared for by Don's son Mike Epperly since 2006. Toward the end of the Civil War, the Battle of Lynchburg resulted in victory for the Confederacy, which dealt a large blow to Union troops. That brings us to number 5 on our list, the Pest House Medical Museum. Relocated inside the historic Old City Cemetery in Lynchburg, the Pest House, short for Pestilence House, served as the medical office of Dr. John J. Terrell. It was here that Dr. Terrell quarantined and treated Lynchburg residents who contracted deadly contagious diseases such as smallpox or measles. However, due to the poor medical care and non-existent standards of cleanliness during the late 19th century, most patients ended up succumbing to their illness. Today, the Pest House offers a small glimpse at what life was like for the sick and wounded over 150 years ago. Up next at number 4, Ellwood Manor, the resting place of Stonewall Jackson's amputated left arm. William Jones built Ellwood in 1790, and 5 years after losing his first wife in 1823, the 78-year-old married his late wife's 16-year-old grandniece, Lucinda Gordon. Lucinda gave birth to the couple's daughter in 1829, whom William decided to name after his first wife. So what does this have to do with Stonewall Jackson's arm, you're wondering? Well, nothing. This backstory was just too Jerry Springer-ish not to be included. The thought of a 79-year-old and a 17-year-old having a child together is a little disturbing to say the least. Anyway, during the Civil War, Ellwood Manor served as a headquarters and hospital for Confederate forces. When General Stonewall Jackson was accidentally shot in a friendly fire incident, his left arm was amputated, and Jackson's chaplain decided to bury the arm at the family cemetery at Ellwood Manor. Before we get to our top 3 unique places in Virginia, consider making 2020 a year where you explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity with Skillshare's online classes. What you find just might surprise and inspire you. I recently completed a class on editing evocative travel stories and really enjoyed the format and easy to digest content. Skillshare is incredibly affordable, especially when compared to pricey in-person classes and workshops. An annual subscription is less than $10 a month. Click the link in the description to get 2 free months of premium membership and explore your creativity. Number 3, Appomattox Courthouse National Historic Park. The American Civil War came to a climactic end after the Battle of Appomattox Courthouse on April 9th, 1865. Following the 9.5-month siege of Petersburg and Richmond, which resulted in Union victory, Confederate General Robert E. Lee retreated west with hopes of joining up with the remaining Confederate troops in North Carolina. Lee's retreat was ultimately cut off in the village of Appomattox Courthouse. Outgunned and outnumbered, Lee ended up surrendering to General Ulysses S. Grant inside the parlor of a house owned by Wilmer McLean. A printing press was quickly set up to print parole passes for nearly 28,000 Confederate soldiers, allowing them free passage back home with their horses and personal sidearms. The Visitor Center at Appomattox Courthouse is open daily from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and visiting the park is completely free. Located in the southern end of the Shenandoah Valley, Virginia's Natural Bridge towers over Cedar Creek and is our number 2 pick. This beautiful rock formation was a sacred site for the Native American Monacan tribe and was once owned by former President Thomas Jefferson, who purchased the bridge and surrounding 157 acres of land from King George III in 1774 for 20 shillings. It was a popular tourist attraction among Europeans during the 18th and 19th centuries, and it's believed that a young George Washington visited the site in 1750 and carved his initials 23 feet up on the wall of the bridge. In 2013, 1,500 acres of land, including the bridge, were set to be sold at auction. The nonprofit Virginia Conservation Legacy Fund purchased the bridge to prevent commercial development. However, when the organization soon found itself unable to pay on its $9.1 million loan, the state of Virginia stepped in. Although the bridge is currently on privately owned land, the property is managed by the Virginia Department of Conservation and Recreation as a state park. Natural Bridge is the only place on our top 10 list that isn't free, but a nominal $8 entrance fee gives you access to the bridge and 6 miles of hiking trails. Finally, our number 1 pick of the top 10 unique places to visit in Virginia, the ruins of Belle Isle. Just the name alone sounds adventurous. Accessible by a pedestrian footbridge underneath the Robert E. Lee Memorial Bridge in Richmond, Belle Isle is a 540-acre island on the James River that was first explored by Captain John Smith in 1607. Walking around the island, you'll find the scattered remains of various industrial operations that took place between the 19th and 20th centuries. During the Civil War, the island served as a prison camp for captured Union soldiers, and as many as 30,000 Union POWs were imprisoned on the island between 1862 and 1865. The island has been a city park since 1973 and is now a popular recreational spot among local outdoor enthusiasts. Well, that wraps it up for our top 10 places in Virginia. I hope it's given you some ideas for things to do during your next visit to the Old Dominion State. But before you go, we'd love to hear from you. What are some of your favorite places to visit in Virginia? Let us know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember to get out and explore.